All right, so in my article, I highlighted 10 benefits. In a more pragmatic approach, we will group them today into three main topics, plus a bonus. Firstly, benefits to number one, increasing user productivity. Two, improving workflow and security. And finally, three, better collaboration by connecting teams. And after that, we will see how cloud is enabling new licensing models. So let's get started with user productivity first. From the tests I made for the article, I can see that ARES Trinity has powerful cloud connectivity features, giving users robust file synchronization capabilities. These are most important for today's remote work reality. In my test, I was simulating two users with two computers on two different platforms. But the benefits increase, of course, if you have more users and more devices. In ARES Trinity, it no longer matters if people work from home, at the office, or anywhere else. The project is always up to date for all users. In ARES Commander, you keep the flexibility to work with local files or files in the cloud. However, using files in the cloud is required for synchronization and all the Trinity features we will see next. Besides synchronizing files among all users, the synchronization also ensures the continuity of your work on all your devices. You can start working on a computer at the office, continue working from home, and later open up the drawing on your smartphone. The drawing is always up to date. If you don't have a cloud storage provider yet, Graebert offers the ARES Kudo Drive with some free storage. The ARES Kudo Drive makes it easy for you to explore the Trinity features. You will find sample drawings and the capacity to upload some of your own drawings. With desktop, mobile, and cloud, ARES Trinity richly supports all the major operating systems. With one license, the user can work from all of his or her devices. This is, in my mind, the most democratized CAD platform in the market. ARES Commander is the version you will most likely use on your main computer. The same license works for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Unlike ARES Kudo, this is the version that is installed in your computer, and it can therefore also work offline. From my product review, I can also say that one of ARES' most substantial advantages over its DWG competition is its ARES Kudo web browser-based offering. It is not just an app for reviewing CAD drawings. You can actually start a new drawing from ARES Kudo, and you could develop it with market-leading features. Using ARES Kudo is very convenient for users who are frequently out of the office. It is, for example, a perfect fit for team leaders or technical experts who only on occasion modify the drawings. With Kudo, they can access the drawings anywhere and be sure the drawing is always the latest version. ARES Kudo offers a full set of 2D features. This includes, first of all, the dimensioning tools and the dimension palette, which helps you to customize your dimensions. The most frequently used commands are found in the menu and toolbar on the left. And if you know a command by name, you can enter it in the command bar. The names are the same. Here is an example with the mirror command. ARES Kudo also supports design aids like entity snaps and tracking. You can also do a right-click to call the contextual menu. Advanced features such as block insertion and hatches are also supported. And we can see now an example with the pattern command, also known as array in AutoCAD. In ARES Kudo, the dialogues are reorganized into side palettes to adapt to the configuration of your internet browser. In the bottom left, you can switch between the model space and different layouts that have been created. You can also configure new sheets and viewports. Finally, ARES Kudo is also able to export and print to PDF. You can choose to export a specific sheet or create a PDF with multiple sheets. In ARES Touch, or with ARES Touch, Trinity users can also access and modify their drawings on iPads and Android tablets, as well as iPhones and Android smartphones. ARES Touch has the advantage of working both offline, and online. So you can keep working when there is no internet, then synchronize your changes later when you're back on the internet. The user interface is optimized for smaller screens and touch input. It makes it easy to follow your projects on your smartphone or tablet. New in ARES Trinity 2024 is the Trinity Block Library. This feature is a great example of the benefits of using cloud. The Trinity Block Library enables you to create block libraries that are stored in the cloud. This is very useful because one can organize a library of items, including symbols, furniture, lights, people, cars, annotation, and other things common in your drawings. It means no matter where you are or what device you are using, you can access your common blocks via your Trinity Block Library on demand. The same library will also follow you on ARES Kudo, where you only need an internet browser to make a quick modification. And you will also find it in ARES Touch. You can, for example, use your smartphone or tablet to insert some blocks when you are in the field, like typically for a survey of existing furniture in a building. Trinity Block Libraries can also be shared with other ARES users. You can create either personal libraries or organization libraries, which are shared within your company. Even when it's a personal library, you can invite other users. The same dialog helps to define who can modify the library and who should use it. As the library is in the cloud, any modification, such as a new block being added or replaced, is immediately available to all users. Now we are moving to the second topic, related to the improvements in terms of workflow and security. Some users are reluctant to use cloud because they're afraid their files will be less protected than on their hard drives. But when they need to share those drawings, they keep using unproductive methods that duplicate the files. In practice, centralizing files in the cloud enables much better control over which users can access each drawing and whether or not they can modify it. In this regard, the ARES ecosystem is broader and deeper than its rivals in several ways. User access and rights control is one example. In ARES Kudo, we can use the permissions dialog to see the list of users. We can not only invite users, but also change their rights. We can, for example, allow a user to edit today, then revoke that access tomorrow. In ARES Commander, you can use the Cloud Storage palette to access the Sharing Options dialog. In this example, the file is stored in the ARES Kudo drive, but it would be the same for all other storage options. From here, we can manage the user permissions. So unlike local files, you keep permanent control over who can view or edit your files. The worst thing that can happen when you work on a project is to invest time to modify it, then realize afterward that you were working for nothing because someone else was working in parallel. These problems are arising more frequently now because since the pandemic, people are working far more remote. Session handling prevents such issues, ensuring that only one user is editing at a time. When you try to open a file that is already in use, ARES will display a message. This message tells you who is currently editing. Even if you cannot modify, you will be granted viewing access, and you'll be able to read and create comments and markups. Same is true if you open the drawing in the cloud version, ARES Kudo. In ARES Kudo, however, and probably soon in other Trinity products as well, it is possible to take over the editing session from another user. This makes it possible for two or more users to work together. To prevent conflicting changes, the system ensures that only one user at a time can edit the drawing, but the other users can keep viewing and are invited to reload the drawing and see the changes. To communicate together, users can also leverage the comments and markups we will see in a few minutes. The version history and its ability to highlight changes is another good illustration of how cloud can help to increase security. In ARES Commander, you can open the version history palette Here you can read the history of the drawing and see who has saved each modification. In this example, we see that different users have been making successive changes. A primary benefit of version history is to compare one version to another. Just like with drawing compare, differences will be highlighted in color. If the user disagrees with these changes, he or she can return to the previous version by promoting it. Likewise, in ARES Kudo, we can see the version history of our drawing. Now let's imagine I received a new version by email from a non-ARES user. I can upload it and it will be promoted as the current version, the one that all other ARES users will be using. Next, I can open it and keep working with this version. But if I change my mind, I can go back to the previous version by selecting it and clicking on the Promote button. The ability to upload in external files the new version is fundamental because it makes it possible for ARES Trinity users to keep working with non-ARES users on a project without losing the comments, markups, and history they added previously. We are now heading to our third topic to explore the communication tools, aiming at connecting the team members working on the project. In my article, I also emphasize how ARES Trinity provides powerful and beneficial markup and commenting features to discuss the project with text, voice, or pictures. Comments and markups represent a collaboration thread that does not modify the drawing. The comments can be linked to a selection of entities. I'm impressed with this ability because a zoom icon appears that can help colleagues automatically navigate to the entities discussed in the comment. Comments and markups can be answered and marked as resolved. The filter helps you show or hide what makes sense for you. If you don't feel like writing a long text, you can record your voice instead and insert it as a voice recording. Likewise, you can share picture markups to share photos or other types of images, including images from the web, and link them to a specific area of your project. Finally, stamps can be used to add ready-made text like for review, and you can create your own stamps as well. In ARES Touch, the comments and markups are also very important to share information with the rest of the team. With these tools, the users in the field can follow the project. They can also highlight issues that need to be addressed. In ARES Commander, the design team will see all these comments and markups in the commenting palette. They can use this feedback to improve the drawing. They can also reply or create other comments and markups to help other users. Voice recordings are particularly interesting for ARES Touch users. When they are in the field, they often see something to report, but they don't have a keyboard to type long messages, so recording their voice is much easier. Likewise, it is very convenient to take photos with a smartphone. Using picture markups makes it easy to share photos with others without waiting to return to the office. Photos taken on-site can help the design team to react promptly to any technical issues. So the next question is, how do teammates know when files have been updated and when to react promptly because their help is required? Email notifications can play a significant role in accelerating your project. With email notifications, you keep track of the changes made on your drawings. You see who has made modifications and when. You also see the comments, picture markups, and voice recordings added by other users. With all these elements, you can follow the project and react promptly when required. Email notifications are also very easy to read on your smartphone. It makes it easy to keep an eye on your project when you're on the go. One of the critical differentiators of ARES Trinity is that it truly reflects the idea of a single source of truth. View-only links are URLs that you can create to share free viewing access with colleagues and customers. Using this URL, your contacts can easily share feedback and validate your drawings. To use a view-only link, your contacts will only need an internet browser. It is even better than a PDF because there's nothing to install. Besides, this link is always up to date. If you make any modifications, your contacts will always have access to the latest version. It is also better than a PDF because you can revoke access at any time. View-only links also work for 3D drawings. Your contacts can easily select different viewpoints to get, for example, a top view. Alternatively, they can use the 3D orbit. The mouse can also be used for zoom and pan. But if your contacts don't have a mouse with a scroll button, they can use the zoom from the toolbar. The toolbar also includes measuring tools. When you create a view-only link, you can decide if your contact can export your drawing to PDF. It could be, for example, that you prefer that your contact can only view the drawing online, where it is always updated. In the permissions dialog, you can turn this option on and off. In the same dialog, you can disable access or define an expiration date. Simply viewing the drawing doesn't require any login, but for markups and comments, it's important to authenticate who is commenting. Your customers and colleagues can, therefore, create a free Graebert account to not only view, but also comment on the drawing. Using comments and markups is a great way to collect feedback and validation from non-CAD users. These feedback will show up inside ARES and inside the email notifications to help you react promptly. In my product review, I also highlighted how, in my perspective, the ARES licensing is the best in the entire CAD industry, offering flexibility galore, as I wrote. So now I invite Cedric to give us a quick overview here.
Sure, I'd be glad to. ARES Commander can be purchased with or without Trinity. Trinity licenses include ARES Commander, ARES Kudo, and ARES Touch. For perpetual licenses, the Trinity features are offered as an optional subscription that can be continued or stopped. Alternatively, you can buy term licenses for 1 or 3 years, and we have introduced the new Flex Cloud license to share ARES Trinity licenses among a group of users. The new Flex Cloud license is a unique feature from Graebert that has no equivalent on the market. It combines the advantages of sharing licenses, as in the network licenses of ARES Commander, with the modern features offered by the cloud. With traditional network licenses, the pool of licenses is on the local network. It works well when all the users are in the same location, typically at the office. But the pandemic transformed how people work, and it is now very common to work from home, at least a few days per week. The primary advantage of the FlexCloud license, therefore, is that users no longer need to be in the same place, because the pool of licenses is in the cloud. They can work from anywhere, at the office, at home, or even in a different country. The second advantage is that FlexCloud licenses make it possible to share Trinity licenses, with two main benefits. First of all, FlexCloud users gain the ability to use not only ARES Commander, but also ARES Kudo and ARES Touch. Secondly, the FlexCloud license includes the Trinity features inside ARES Commander, with all the modern collaboration tools we have seen today. While in the network licenses of ARES Commander, the Trinity features are not available because users are anonymous. This brings us to our third part to conclude on the key takeaways. So the bigger picture is that you can consider a first group of users working with a Trinity license. These are the CAD users who are heavily producing the drawings. With ARES Touch and ARES Kudo, you can extend to a second group of users who will mostly modify and share feedback on the drawing created by the first group. And with the view-only links, you can further extend to colleagues and customers who will view and comment for free. This is the true revolution that Cloud CAD and Mobile CAD are empowering. Anthony, I think this is closing our list of 10 benefits. It was very interesting to get your perspective on this. At Architosh, you have been watching the evolution of CAD software for the past 25 years. So how would you say ARES is really outstanding, and as an architect, what would you say are the most valuable features?
Okay, yes. So in my product review, I wrote that if I had to pick a favorite feature, it'd be a toss-up between ARES' excellent commenting system and the view-only links. With employees working from everywhere these days on shared assets, They need powerful asymmetrical communication technology. And view-only links that don't require a user to log in are a big time saver versus creating PDFs to mail progress updates to clients or stakeholders. I also think the synchronization of files across the third-party clouds in our testing was very, very robust. This must be considered in the remote work environment today. In closing, the ARES Trinity app ecosystem has matured nicely. The 10 feature groups outlined in this review clearly sets ARES Trinity apart from the competition for DWG-based CAD users, and there are millions worldwide. The ARES Trinity ecosystem is unmatched in the industry from basically three things, or vantage points. One, its value and comprehensive feature set. Two, device and operating system support. And three, most of all, for meeting the needs of how people work today after the global pandemic. As editor-in-chief of Architosh, I'm also very interested to see the evolution of ARES Kudo. Cedric, what is the ambition for this product? I heard you say today that ARES Kudo is now offering a full set of 2D features. Do you see a time in the near future when ARES Kudo will replace ARES Commander as your main product?
I think the answer depends on the type of users and companies. On the one hand, we do currently see some customers that are taking clear directions to use only online solutions like ARES Kudo. We also see some developers developing new solutions that are emerging on the market, such as Onshape and more recently Snapshot. And these developers show interest in ARES Kudo as a technology partner. To put it simply, I would say that if you are starting a new business today and want to be disruptive in your market, cloud is a great way to differentiate and take market share from your competitors. On the other hand, the challenge for long-established companies is to manage their digital transformation without any brutality. They have users, but also partners and IT systems that are already in place. And this is a transition that can take years, potentially 10 years or more. More than the features, I think therefore that what is most appealing about our Trinity concept is the flexible approach it offers. Within the same company, it doesn't matter if you have conservative users and early adopters, intensive users and occasional users, tech-savvy users and inexperienced users. At the end, the ARES Trinity makes it possible to connect them all around the same ecosystem. The early adopters will jump into the new technologies quickly, but the most conservative users will be attracted by the possibility to use ARES Commander just like before and adopt the new Trinity features at their own pace. Well, many thanks, Anthony. It was great having you today, but it's time for us to close this keynote. Many thanks also to all of you joining us today. If you have questions, please free to send them to next@graebert.com. One last thing, you may also visit our e-learning platform on graebert.academy to get free online training and certification. Please make sure to join the next keynote. We will be back after a very short break. Thank you.